Before we get started with the interface and navigation in Excel, let us talk about the templates that Excel provides. So when you click on File and then Home, you can see that there are various templates. Now, if you go to the New tab, you can see some templates that you can easily use with a single click. Now from here, if you go to the New tab over here, you can see further more templates categorized based on the use and application. Now, for example, if you want to use Excel to analyze your budget, you can click on this Budget tab and it will open up a wide range of options for you to choose from. And if you still don't find what you're looking for, you have the search option here. So now let's go back. However, if you are still not able to find the template that you are looking for, you have the search option here where you can type in the kind of template that you are looking for. For example, let's say I'm looking for a template to create a to-do list. So I will type it here, and I'm sure that it already has some templates that can help me with that. Suppose I want the teacher's to-do list that is shown over here. So I will click on that and then click on Create. As you can see here, this opens a new workbook and it already has a default name which you can change as per your requirement. Now, apart from this, you can also create your own custom template, which we'll cover later in the course. Now, let me close this for the time being and let us move on to the Excel interfaces and navigation. The interface of Microsoft Excel is divided into several parts. First one is the ribbon, which is the main toolbar in Excel. This upper portion that you see over here is the ribbon, and the ribbon contains a number of tabs that organizes various commands and features of Excel. Let us go through these one by one. The Home tab is the one that is open by default, and you can see the various commands that are listed here. This Home tab is generally used for working with data such as formatting, editing, and sorting. The next one is the Insert tab. This tab contains the commands for inserting objects into a worksheet such as charts, pictures, and text boxes. Then comes the Page layout. This contains the commands for formatting a worksheet such as setting page margins and printing and things like that. Then if we go to the Formulas tab, this has the formulas and functions that we can use to manipulate our data. Then is the Data tab here. And just so that you are aware, I am just giving a very high level overview as the options and commands under each tab is very extensive and going through each one of them would take a lot of time. However, you can explore it yourself and take your time to understand each command. So coming back, the tab contains the commands for working with data such as sorting, filtering, and importing data from other sources. The Review tab contains the commands for reviewing and protecting a worksheet such as checking spelling and grammar. You can also add comments, which when working with multiple people is very handy because you can put your thoughts in the worksheet as comments which the other collaborators can go through. Then we have the View tab where we have the commands for changing the view of a worksheet such as zooming in and out, hiding rows and columns, etc. And then we have the Help tab which we can use to take help when working on Excel. If you click on Help over here, you can see the Help panel opening on the right. You can put any query you have in the search bar. Suppose I want to find out the syntax of any formula, say VLOOKUP. So I will type in VLOOKUP syntax. And you can see that it helps us with the syntax using different examples. Now suppose I want to learn how to protect my worksheet. So let me first delete this and then type protect worksheet. And hit enter. You can see here that it provides me with the steps on how to perform this task. Another interesting part of this help tab is the show training option, which provides you with some training videos as well that you can play to understand the concepts better. So this was a quick overview of the various tabs in Excel. Now the next is the quick access toolbar. The quick access toolbar is a small toolbar that is located at the top of the Excel window. It can be customized to include the commands that you use most often. For that, you can click here and you can see that some of the commands are checked, and those are the ones that are listed here, such as autosave, save, undo and redo. So as per your need, you can add more commands here by checking those commands, or even remove those by unchecking them. And these are the ones that are listed outside for quick access. So you can make use of the quick access toolbar to add the commands that you use the most. Now let us talk about worksheet. It is the main area of the Excel window. It is where you enter and edit data, create formulas and charts. As you can see here, a worksheet is made up of rows and columns. Rows are horizontal and columns are vertical. The intersection of a row and a column is called a cell. Here in the upper left corner of the Excel window, what you see is the name box. It displays the name or the address of the active cell. For example, this cell is at the intersection of F column and the 8th row. So the name box would display F8. You can use the name box to type and navigate directly to a particular cell. Just type in the address of the cell here. For example, if I want to navigate to D25, I will type in D25 and press enter. And you can see that it has directly taken me to that cell. Now next to the name box is the formula bar. It is used to enter and edit formulas and values in cells. So to understand that, consider the data that I have entered here, which displays the marks of a student in different subjects. We also have calculated the total marks secured by the student by adding the marks obtained in these 3 subjects: English, Mathematics and Science. Now when I click on the cell and when you look at the formula bar, you can see the formula that has been used to perform this calculation. You can also double click on the cell to display the formula. So you can see that both the formula bar and the cell show the same formula. Now if you want to edit the formula, you can do it either from the cell over here, or you can go to the formula bar to perform the edits. Now for example, I want to calculate the sum of only 2 subjects, that is English and Mathematics, and exclude Science. I can make the change to the cell range. So currently you can see that it performs the calculation across the cells from F8 to F10. Now I would change that to F8 to F9. You can see that as I change the range over here, the selection changes accordingly. So now it is considering only these 2 cells and it has recalculated the total. The formula bar also displays the results of formulas. Now moving on, the bar that is located here at the bottom of the Excel window is the status bar. It displays information about the current state of the Excel workbook, such as the current zoom level, the page layout, workbook statistics and so on. Also, if you have some values entered into your worksheet like we have over here, and if you select that, you can directly have a view of some of the calculations such as the average, count, sum. Now if you want, you can also customize the status bar to add or remove the information that is displayed on it. For example, along with the average and sum that is already being displayed, I also want to display the maximum value. For that, right-click on it and select the options that you want to display. The ones that are checked in the list are the ones that are already being displayed, and you would be able to see that based on the data that is present on your worksheet. Now, as I said, I also want to display the maximum value. So for that, all I have to do is just check this option. Now you can see that the maximum value is also being displayed in the status bar. To summarize, the Excel interface is designed to be user-friendly and intuitive. The ribbon and the quick access toolbar make it easy to find the commands that you need, and the name box and the formula bar make it easy to enter and edit data and formulas. The worksheet is the main area where you work with data, and the status bar provides information about the current state of the workbook. Now, as we said, a worksheet is a place where you enter and manipulate or work on your data. And this worksheet is contained in a workbook. So by default, there is one worksheet, or in some cases 3 worksheets present in a workbook. Here you can see that in this case we have just one worksheet that I get when I open this workbook. But you can add more worksheets to it by clicking on this plus here. Now, if you right click on any particular sheet, you get a lot of options to perform on that sheet. For example, if you click on Insert, you get the options to insert another worksheet, chart, etc. Then you have the Delete option to delete the sheet. You can also rename the sheet by clicking here or double clicking on the sheet's name. For example, I would rename it as Working Sheet. So it's renamed now. Now if I right click again, you can see more options like Move or Copy. For example, if you want to move a copy of this worksheet, you can check this box, Create a Copy. Then you can select as to where you want your worksheet to be placed or moved. So if I select Move to End, you can see that a copy of this worksheet, that is the working sheet, has been created and it has been placed at the end of this series of sheets. Now another option is to add color to the worksheet tab. For example, if I want to change the tab color to orange, I can select orange from this color palette. Now you can see that this sheet tab has been highlighted in orange. Next, you have the option to select all sheets and hide one or more sheets in a workbook. Then this link to this sheet option will give you a link to the sheet that you can share with others for a single click access to this sheet. Finally, if you go to Show Changes, you can see what all changes have been done to your worksheet and by whom. Now let us talk about protecting a worksheet. For that, as we have already seen, there is a Protect Sheet option. Now if I click on this, you can see that we have the option to set a password that should be used to unprotect this sheet. Below this, we have a list of actions that we can allow the users to have by checking the boxes against them. So for example, we can see that a user that opens this password protected sheet, they are able to only select both locked and unlocked cells. Now apart from this, if I want the user to be able to also perform sort, I will check this box and click OK, which will allow the user to perform sorting activities on the data in the sheet. I hope that now you have a pretty good idea about the options you have that you can perform on a worksheet. Now another way to protect the workbook is to go to File, go to Info, and you have the Protect Workbook option over here. Now here are some additional tips for navigating through Excel. One of the quickest ways to perform an action, be it calculation or navigation, is to use the keyboard shortcuts. There are many keyboard shortcuts that Excel offers, and you can find a list of these shortcuts in the Excel help documentation. For that, you can go to the Help tab, click on Help over here. Here you can type in keyboard shortcuts. Once you select this, you can see a list of keyboard shortcuts for different Office applications, and here is the one for keyboard shortcuts in Excel. I will click on this, and as I scroll down, I can see a list of keyboard shortcuts that I can use, which will definitely make my execution faster. Alternatively, you can use the Alt key to display the shortcut keys for the ribbon commands. Next handy feature of the Excel interface is the zoom feature, which can be used to zoom in and out of a worksheet. This can be helpful for navigating to specific cells or for viewing large amounts of data. You can also use the navigation pane to navigate to different sheets and cells in a workbook. To go to the navigation pane, click on the View tab and then click on the navigation pane button over here. Here you can see the list of worksheets that are a part of this workbook. Under each worksheet, you can see different range of cells which has data in it. So if I click here, it takes me to the cell range which has the total calculated. If I click here, it takes me to this range of cells. So with this, you can directly navigate through the workbook. So from this worksheet, if I click here, I directly move to the working sheet 2. This way, it helps me to quickly move to the desired sheet and cells. Apart from these, as we have already seen with the help of the Quick Access toolbar, which we can customize to include the shortcuts that we use most often, we can easily access the shortcuts without having to remember them.